What's up, cats? My name is Chris Ferrari. I'm a saxophonist, clarinetist, and flutist from Denver, Colorado. This summer I have the great fortune of performing alongside countless incredible musicians in NYO's inaugural jazz program. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about ear training and utilizing it to enhance your improvisational abilities. Whether you're a jazz musician or a classical musician, it's important that we make the most out of the tool that brought us to music in the first place, our ears. By training ourselves to get out of the paper and study music on a more aural level, we gain a greater sense of expression and artistic feeling in our music that we wouldn't have otherwise. When I initially began studying music playing piano in kindergarten, I always felt like my musical abilities were limited to what books and exercises I had in my repertoire. I never felt like I could truly explore what musical capabilities I had. This changed for me when I became interested in jazz and picked up the clarinet in 4th grade. I was introduced to what improvisation was, and after some time I found that the best way anybody could learn how to improvise is simply through using their ear. Here are some great exercises that I continue to practice that have helped me grow as an improviser and better recognize harmony and melody in my own playing and in others. First of all, when it comes to ear training, the most important thing anybody can do is transcribe. What I mean by this is simply learning a song by ear without any sheet music. It can be the melody to your favorite concerto or your favorite jazz solo. Learn as much of it as you can simply by using your ear and translating that onto your instrument. Here's an example of what transcribing would look like. That was Sonny Rollins' first chorus on Origin. In playing along with him, not only am I becoming a more proficient player and learning new vocabulary, but I'm also connecting sound to fingerings, sound to shapes, and also sound to specific notes. The more difficult the piece you transcribe, the more time it will take, so be patient. It may be just one note at a time, stopping and starting until you get the whole thing. It wasn't easy for me at first. It isn't for anyone. My first transcription actually took me months to complete, but like any process, over time it becomes more natural. Eventually you'll start to get a sense for how certain sounds feel per se on your instrument without consciously knowing what they are. It becomes this sort of aural to kinesthetic translation or connection. You hear something and might think, okay, so this note sounds like da, and it sounds darker to me, and it has a little bit of resistance. So if I'm translating that onto my horn, it must be over time, you start to develop a sense of relative pitch. Here's an exercise that you can do with any one of your friends that helps to work on this. Today I have my great friend Cole Polensky from Papillion, Nebraska, and he's a great tenor saxophonist that's also in NYO Jazz with me. Essentially, one person will play something and the other has to play it back, training your ear in real time. I started working on this exercise when I first learned about it at the Swing Central Jazz Competition in 2015. The first time I tried it, I was pretty far off, but then the next time, maybe it took me only a couple of notes to get to where I heard. Or maybe the third time I started getting closer, I was one note off. With practice, growth is gradual. Now, Cole is really good at this because he has perfect pitch, but you get the idea of how it works. So your ear is feeling really good. But then how does this relate back to improvising, and how does it relate back to harmony? The answer is simple. If you can learn to hear melody, you can learn to hear harmony. Our ear knows what sounds good and what doesn't, So when you have to improvise over a certain set of chord changes, use these same techniques to construct melodies that fit. Figure out what works and what doesn't. Now Cole and I are going to show you another exercise that works on just that. I'm going to accompany him on piano, and we're going to create spontaneous improvisation, attempting to construct some sort of composition, binding melody, harmony, and rhythm, all without knowing what the other is going to play. So as you can see, we were able to create beautiful, or at least what I consider relatively beautiful music with each other without any prior knowledge of what we were going to do. We did this completely improvised, simply using our ears, trusting what we heard in one another. I'm able to recognize certain melodic cells that Cole plays, and then I'm able to put a harmonic landscape behind it, so that way we can fuse the two together in a cohesive way. This is just like improvising over any song, hearing what it sounds like and then using that knowledge to build a solo. In my mind, that's a much more musical and enlightening way to go about improvising and learning how to solo, rather than, looking at the chords and figuring out what scales go behind them and practicing that in a very academic manner. That's such a fun thing to do. I've gone through a lot of hard times, as I'm sure you all have, and I've always found that this exercise helps me bring about a sense of inner peace. Music is a very powerful healing source. Practicing these exercises is almost meditative because it allows you to open up your mind and explore sonic realms that you may not always be comfortable in. That's what improvisation should be like, expressive and non-limiting. Frankly, that's what all music should be like. So the next time you're playing in your orchestra, your wind ensemble, or your big band, try and internalize what's going on around you and trust that your ear is far more powerful than the ink on the page in front of you. Open up your ears and you may be surprised at how much musical potential is right there waiting to be found. Thanks so much for sticking around and joining me for this NYO-U mini masterclass on ear training and hearing harmony to help you become a better improviser. If you enjoyed this video, please check out the other videos on NYO-USA's channel and subscribe anywhere here or there or over there. Until next time, I'm Chris Ferrari, and keep on shedding.